Since 2007, the average iPhone owner has spent somewhere around $10,000 on iPhones. New phone every couple of years, plus cases, chargers, and AppleCare. But what if, every time you bought an iPhone, you'd bought that same dollar amount in Apple stock instead? The answer is genuinely staggering, and it teaches a lesson that has nothing to do with phones. Let's anchor this with one rock-solid number. If you had invested just $1,000 in Apple stock the month the first iPhone launched in June 2007, that $1,000 would be worth around $50,000 today. That's a 50 times return, turning 1,000 into 50,000, while the iPhone you bought that year is sitting in a drawer somewhere, worth nothing. Here's the setup before we run the numbers. The first iPhone launched in June 2007 at $599. Since then, Apple has released a new flagship almost every year. The average committed iPhone user has bought a new one every 2 to 3 years. And Apple's stock, adjusted for its two splits, has gone from about $4.50 a share to over $220. That's the engine behind everything you're about to see. Watch what $1,000 in Apple stock did from the first iPhone launch to today. You buy in back in 2007. For years, the growth is slow, almost boring. It doubles, then creeps higher, nothing dramatic. But watch the right side of the chart. As the years stack up, the line stops crawling and starts to climb. Then it goes vertical. By the time you reach today, that $1,000 has become around $50,000. The same money you'd have spent on a single phone that's now sitting in a drawer. Now scale it up. If instead of buying each iPhone, you had put that same money into Apple stock on the day each phone launched, your roughly $10,000 of phone spending would be worth well over $100,000 today. The early purchases matter most. The $600 you didn't spend in 2007 alone would be worth around $30,000 now. Your phones cost you $10,000. The road not taken was worth 10 times that. iPhone buyer versus Apple investor. Same person, same money, same 18 years. The iPhone buyer spent about $10,000, owns a phone worth a few $100s at most, and got the use and joy of the device along the way. The Apple investor put that same $10,000 into the stock, owns over $100,000 today, but used an older phone the whole time. The point isn't that buying iPhones is wrong. It's that every dollar you spend on a product is a dollar you could have owned a piece of the company instead. Before you go sell everything to buy Apple, 3 honest lessons. 1. This is hindsight. In 2007, Apple was not an obvious winner. Plenty of people thought the iPhone would flop. You could not have known. 2. For every Apple, there's a BlackBerry, a Nokia, a Kodak. Companies that looked unstoppable and collapsed. Picking the single winner in advance is nearly impossible. And 3, here's the actual takeaway. You don't have to pick the winner. If you simply own an S&P 500 index fund, you already own Apple. It's about 7% of the entire index. You own a slice of every great American company automatically. That's the real lesson. The Apple story is incredible, but the real lesson isn't buy Apple. It's that consumption and ownership are 2 different relationships with a company. You can be a customer, an owner, or both. The people who built real wealth over the last 20 years weren't just buying the products. They owned a piece of the businesses making them, and you can do that with one simple index fund.